It's late May in the nation's capital. At Scotiabank Place, home of the Ottawa Senators, all is seemingly quiet. The concourse is dark and barren. The Arena Bowl, desolate. The dressing room, empty. For a building that's home to exuberant crowds and the grind of NHL hockey, these are the sights and sounds of the off-season. The tone is decidedly different, however, for the management and scouting staff of the Ottawa Senators. With the 2011 NHL entry draft just weeks away, they take part in the annual pre-draft meeting, led by Director of Player Personnel, Pierre Dorion. The arduous task is a culmination of a year's worth of scouting research and one of the biggest steps in the drafting process.
Is everyone ready to go? Yeah, for us, it's probably the most important time of the year. Besides when we go to games and scout, it's our whole year in review. What we try and do is obviously we try to build a list for the draft, which is our biggest chore for the year.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
We have a quality group of scouts, and we have strong opinions.
Being that we have a little bit of philosophy with this free agent thing, if you had to ask me from the standpoint, all the guys after number one wouldn't even be on the list. Because in my feeling, like when I look at all those kids, like they're like maybe they have a chance. And
sometimes it's difficult to come to a consensus after a lot of debate and a lot of arguing back and forth, but positive points are brought up, and we feel that we can put the player with the best upside that's going to help the Ottawa Senators when he's 22, 23 is the guy that we've slotted higher than the next guy.
And as a guy that's not tough, he did fight that tough guy up at number 3. And the prospects, he didn't hesitate. He did okay there.
Well, the best the number 7 guy will ever be. The best, if everything goes well, the best 5 is a 5 defenseman. Maybe a 4th. I agree. The 5.
He'll never be.
Okay.
We'll give him. I think he's got a solid chance to be a 6. His upside is
yeah, that's what I like.
That's what he works competes. Going back to yesterday, here's a chance time where we talk about we need a skill in the organization.
That's the same thing.
And we're going to pass on a guy. Granted, he has baggage, but we're going to pass on a guy that has skill over it.
But going back to
I just hate him. I'm just saying, I go and try to like the guy because.
It's an interesting process because at the year you start with a huge player pool, and it's a process of elimination kind of as much as it is inclusion. It's eliminating players as well.
He could be though, but he could play, and he could play a top 6. He's one of those guys that could be a top 6 forward possibly, or he could be lost.
What's really interesting is we all got different takes. None of us have the same list. We might even have different takes on players, not necessarily what they are, but maybe how good we think their skating is. And so we do it collectively. You have to give and take sometimes, but you also got to stand up for what you believe in too.
I think he'll help you win more, and I know you need offense to win. He'll help you win. You got to win 3-2, 2-1 sometimes too. You got to actually defend a little bit sometimes.
Although it can get heated at times, I don't think it gets personal.
General Manager Brian Murray is looking to build on the late season success the team enjoyed last year, with 2 picks in the first round at number 6 and 21, and 12 picks overall. This is the biggest and arguably the most important draft in franchise history.
We're picking 6th. That's been contested now over the last couple of days, and everyone's got different opinions about what needs we have, but then we have Brian come in and he expresses his thoughts about our needs and what we have in the system. It's more exciting for us as scouts that we have more picks, and so we can get a little more creative with our thinking, and perhaps at certain points we're able to take more of a risky or a gamble pick, that instead of getting the safe, easy guy, we can now go after a guy with more high end that maybe other teams with less picks can't afford to take that gamble.
There's still something there. Yeah, he's going to have to improve.
He's going to have to improve the foot speed and stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. This year you didn't see it as much, but I can tell you last year this guy had an edge. Like he hammered people.
Oh yeah.
We can't get to him.
But according to this.
Yeah.
What club I'm responsible for Europe, scouting in Europe. Basically, I cover all the countries over there, oversee the players everywhere. Today, you have a player in Switzerland, in Germany. You travel a lot up north to Sweden, Finland. You have to take a look in Russia, just you know about the players, in case some of these guys would be interested to come and play over here.
Assistant General Manager Tim Murray spends the early part of the meeting listening to the prospect evaluations from the scouting staff. Before long, the often outspoken Murray is actively involved in the discussions.
I don't know his character off the ice. I don't know these things, and maybe we have to get to know these things. But
Yeah, we're interviewing.
But on the ice, this guy's a special player.
Well, we want to have everybody to have a voice. When you have your meetings, you have to expect that that passion's going to come through, and that's what we want. And we want our scouts to have lots of heated discussion, not talking about fights or anything like that, but lots of heated discussion. We want scouts to stand up for the players they've seen. We want scouts to stand up for their area.
These kids that are there play with the best players. Like they don't go.
Those are long days. So in scouting meetings, they're long days, and sometimes you might throw a little shit against the wall to see where it sticks or doesn't stick. And I like the fact that our scouts, we give them a voice, but they use that voice.
I think that in 3-4 years from now, this guy will be unbelievable. And if you get a chance to take him, take him.
It's contentious at times, but there's lots of great discussion. And hopefully that's how you come to having the best possible list you can.
The scouts and GMs will conclude the meeting knowing that a large piece of the puzzle is complete. Up ahead is the NHL Combine, followed by one-on-one evaluations with the top 5 prospects. And of course, the big day, the NHL Entry Draft.